Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. I have a big task today. I'm working on my European Buckthorn. This European Buckthorn is a very large bonsai. You can see the size of the trunk here. It's quite large. So this has always been the front of the tree, and I don't think it's the best front. There's a few things that I don't like about this front. One is that the main trunk line bends away from you and the apex is towards the back of the tree. So the trunk's up front, it bends back, and then you have the apex. So I don't think it's the best front for the tree. There's also a bit of inverse taper. If you look down at the trunk here, you can see it's a little skinnier here because of this branch, and this branch is kind of thickened up in this area, and these branches up here, and it's kind of got that inverse taper. I mean, it's not horrible. You know, you could live with it, but it's just there. So I'm going to look for other views to see if there's a better front for this tree. If I rotate the tree around this direction, I notice the inverse taper becomes less, and this part of the tree's coming forward. So maybe even rotating it more. How does that look? The actual trunk line looks much nicer in this view. There's a few problems though. I have a branch coming straight forward. I've got a dead branch to the right. I've got a dead branch coming forward here. Oh dear. But trunk line, this is a nice view. I'm just going to keep rotating it, see if there's a better view. Here's kind of the back view. So the trunk comes forward. There is a big scar here with some dead peeling bark on it. So there must be a dead section to this tree at the back here, yeah. It dies back right up to here. So there's, yeah, quite a dead section there, which isn't the worst thing in the world. It looks okay. It actually kind of helps with that inverse taper a bit too. I'd have a right branch, a left branch. The apex comes forward. Yeah, there's some deadwood in the apex too here. But, I mean, it's alive and healthy. So that's not a bad view. I think it's a better view than the side view because I don't have to remove all these branches. I can keep my lower branches. They're not poking straight at the viewer. And the other view, this side, the trunk would be going away from you again, the trunk line. So I think it's either this back or the side. And I think the back view, even though it has more pruning scars and deadwood sections, I think that's going to add to the tree, and I think I have better branch placement. So I think going forward, I'm going to make this the front of the tree. The back will become the front. I'll bring you in so you can see those deadwood sections. So they're right in there. You can see there's a part of the trunk that's died off. And over here, there's a branch that's been removed. Now, I don't know how solid the heartwood is in this tree. Seems to be okay. So yeah, I think that's a suitable front going with this view. So it's getting like really tall. I think, you know, one of my tasks with the tree styling will be to make it more compact. So reducing the height of the canopy down. Keeping the thick trunk, but just trying to keep the tree to a manageable size. Right now it's a monster. The only way I'd fit this in my car is if I tipped it sideways and slid it in the back of the Matrix. And yeah, or the truck. So yeah, a big tree. I don't know how well these European buckthorns are as a bonsai, how well they respond to techniques and how reliable the branching is. I've had one growing in the front garden and it was horrible. It seems like every branch I would develop, it would die off the next spring. and a new sucker would come out from the base of the tree. It was horrible for bonsai, and it may have been that I wasn't watering and fertilizing it a lot. So this tree, I'm going to water and fertilize it really well this summer. See how it does. But yeah, you can even see on here, you know, this branch that was being developed just died off, and then a new shoot came from back further on the branch, and it just skyrocketed up. So I think, you know, branch management is going to be very difficult on this species, but maybe with enough water and fertilizer, it'll become more reliable. That's what I'm hoping. When I first saw this tree, it was lying sideways on a compost heap, and it had been there all summer, not watered or anything, and it was still growing and alive. So I said, "Oh, what's that tree?" And he said, "Oh, it's one of those European buckthorns." And he said, "I've given up on it. I just hate it." And so he said, "If you want it, it's yours." And so I took it off the compost heap. I put it into this cement pot made by Lewis from the Bonsai at the Royal Botanical Gardens Club. Really cool pot. It fit it nicely. And yeah, I overwintered it, and it came back. Whereas my other one, my smaller one, didn't. So I don't know why it didn't, but it didn't. So this one, it's growing well in spring. I've got to decide what I want to do with the deadwood on it. Like, there's whole branches that are dead. Do I saw them off? Do I break them off to make them look more natural? I think breaking them off is better than sawing them off, because I don't want it to look like, you know, man-made cuts on it. And I don't think they heal over really fast. I can see, you know, they will heal, but the wounds in here look like they've been rolling over for maybe a year or two. And the one down here, you can see. So yeah, I'm going to try and make all my cuts look natural rather than, you know, nice pruned flush cuts. So sort of like you would on a pine tree. I'm going to start the work on the lowest branch here. So there's a living shoot that kind of cascades down here. Then there's another branch that comes upwards, and then a shoot on it goes vertical right up into the canopy here. It has been pruned off once here. So I think, you know, this was an effort to build up the thickness of this branch down here. So the trouble is that it grows up into the canopy. If it was out further and then growing vertical, it would be all right, but I don't like it there. So I'm wondering, you know, is it too low a branch for the first branch? Should I just get rid of the whole thing and then develop this as my first branch, which is thicker? I think it does look better with this low branch, so I want to keep it, and I want to thicken it up. So I think these branches are still flexible, but nothing came out on them. You know, once I prune them off, they're gone. Not really hurting anything down here. You know, it's not blocking light to anything. So I think I'll just prune them back. And I'm just trying to see if they're alive. I think they are. Maybe. I don't know. So I'm just pruning them off short. And if they decide to leaf out later on in the year, well, they're there. If they don't, I can prune them off later. It's not hurting anything having them there. And then this tall shoot, it's a tough choice. I think if I prune it off here, I've got a shoot coming out here. If I prune the top off, I can then develop this shoot out as the branch leader to thicken it up. So I'm going to take the top off of this one, and I'll leave a little room for dieback. So here I go. Like that. So that comes off the top, and I still have a branch leader here. Now on the branch over to this side, let's have a look at this one now. This branch comes out from the trunk, and then it has a living shoot here that's kind of growing up into the canopy. So I can prune that back a bit. I'll prune it back to here at least, just the tip off. I'll leave the other part to grow. There's a dead part shooting up vertical, so I'll take that off. And then I've got a living branch coming upwards here, and then there's a lot of these cascading ones that are still alive, which is good. So I'm wondering, you know, should I take that whole upper part off and develop a more horizontal branch? I also have this part of the branch kind of crossing in front of the trunk, which isn't very good either. So I'm going to take that part off, the part that crosses in front of the trunk. So here I go. Just get in here. So all these small cuts will heal quite quickly. I don't need to break those. It's just if I were to remove a major branch, I would want to, you know, rip it instead of pruning it flush. Okay, so that's got that. I'll take these branch tips off here that aren't alive. I think this whole section here is dead. Take that off. This lower one's dead. I'll take that off. Now I've got a branch that shoots skyward on this one. I think that one's got to be removed. It's keeping a lot of vigor to this branch, but I don't know. If I remove it, it takes all the vigor out of the branch, and then I've got these weak branches. It could cause a whole branch to die off. So maybe, like I did with my other vertical sections, I'll just prune them back to an outward facing branch and try and develop, you know, the vigor up further away from the canopy. So that would make me prune it back to here. Just taking the top off. And this one I would have to come back to, I'll take this inside branch off. So it's kind of fanning outwards. I guess that's about all I can do. Yeah, I've got to be cautious with this tree. If I get too much vigor out of this branch, I just feel it's going to die back like some of the others. You know, until I get the vigor more balanced in the whole tree, I've got to be cautious at first with these lower branches. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that for this lowest branch here. It's kind of, you know, not in good sunlight here, but hopefully something will shoot out from it and grow up. Now out the front here, I've got a dead branch. Well, no, it's not dead. There is a shoot coming up here on it. There's one branch coming off of it. That's it. Wow. So you can see these bottom ones are dead. This one's dead. That's dead. This upper one's dead. That's dead. Dead. That one might be still alive. I don't know. It's flexible. So again, you know, there's only one shoot on it. If I were to prune that off, this whole branch would probably die off. Now there is a vertical part of the branch back here that I think is dead. I'm going to prune this one off here. It's on the inside. Yeah, there's one in here. Yeah, it's just dead. So that would be one that I'd have to break off to make look natural. It's just, if I cut it, you'll notice that it was a man-made cut. So I'm going to try and break that off. And to do that, I might have to get out like some pliers or something, or yeah, I think something that I can grab on and then pull to kind of break it off. I'm trying to think what. I mean, I could cut it and try and make it look natural, but they always look artificial if you do that. I'll see if I can get some pliers or something. All right, I've got a pair of vice grips. I'm going to try that, see how it looks. So I'm not sure where. I want to break it kind of fairly close to the other branch, so. Make sure it's adjusted right so I clamp on here. Well, this might work, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, they're attached, the vice grips now, so now I'm going to try breaking it like that. Release the vice grips. There, so that's kind of a natural looking Deadwood. Now it's maybe a little taller than I wanted, so I'm going to reattach my vice grips here. Give it another. Oh, I gotta tighten them more. There. Okay, well, that's not great looking. Maybe I'll try a little more. I mean, no. Oh, I gotta tighten it more. There we go, and there. I like that better. It's closer to the trunk line. It still looks totally natural. I'll give you a close-up of that. Here's a look at that pruning point, breaking point, whatever. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good from the front. Blends in nicely. In that same area, there's a branch here that's died off. I don't know if I can break it by hand. Yeah. There, so that branch is gone. There's also one back here, a big thick one that's died off. I'll try breaking that off too, so I'll rotate it around. That's this one right here. So I'll have to use the vice grips for that. So I'll attach them on. And pull down. Okay. I'll get rid of this one. That one's off, and then I've got to get more of this off. So I'm going to have to loosen the vice grips up quite a bit here. Attach and then pull. No, that's not tight enough. There we go. Okay, here I go. That's gone. Still looks a little stumpy. I've got to get in further here. Okay, here I go. Now the vice grip's just loosening off there. Maybe just pulling the front off here will do it. No. Okay, well, I don't really like that one. It doesn't look very good. I think I've got to keep working on it. Get a better angle. That's my problem, I think. So there it is there. So I'll see if I can get it. There's one dead here that's in the way. I'll get rid of that. Then maybe I can get in here a bit better. There we go. Okay, now I gotta break it off. Well, it's coming. Hopefully this will be a better looking break. Ah, it's much better. Just going to try and remove this section of it, and I think that will be it. There we go. I think that looks good. Yes, I'm happy with that break. It looks just like it broke off in a storm. There's a lot of deadwood on the trunk here in this section. You know, there's a branch pruned off up here that's got deadwood on it. I hope there's, you know, a good living vein in this tree. Okay, well I'm happy with that branch. Let's have a look at it from the front view now. There's the look at the tree now in the front view, and you can see, you know, maybe it looks a little bare over here, but you know, you just got to grow more branches in. I got to get vigor to these lower branches. I think that's 90% of the trouble with this tree, is it's too vigorous up top and there's not much vigor down below. At the back of the tree here, I have another dead branch, so I'll rotate it around and we'll deal with that one next. You can see this one here. There's no life on it at all, so I'm going to break that one off too. Part of it. And I checked, there's no lifelines on it at all. It's just a dead branch. Now, I got to get the major stump off, which would be very difficult to do. Not gripping on there. Okay, here I go. Well, there's part of it. I guess that's a start. Maybe I've got to get in here further. Okay, here I go. I'm bracing the tree with my one hand. It's just rotating around on the branch. Hold on. There, I got it on. Okay, this is going to work this time, I hope. No. It's not going to work this time. No, it's just coming off. Okay, well, let's try a different approach here. Come up here. Get more leverage on it. Well, it's not going to grip. Okay, let's try this. Brace the tree and pull. No, the vice grips are coming off. Okay, well, yeah, we just keep trying. That's all we do. I'm going to try lopping off the end, and then I can get the vice grips in there better. So I'll get the loppers. All right, I've got the big loppers, and if I can kind of pull and break the branch with the loppers, I will. I mean, there's a lot of leverage on here. So, here I go. A lot of leverage. Okay, so that split the branch. I think that's a good start. I'm going to continue with the old loppers here. They're good long levers. Okay, here I go. I need 3 hands here. Okay, here I go. It's getting shorter. Now, is that short enough? I don't think so. I think it needs to come more off. So let's try even more here. Yeah, that's looking better. I think it's time to switch back to vice grips. A more precise tool. There, that looks nice. I like that one. I just got to break off this part. No. It's getting pretty close. I don't know if do I need to go any more than that? Probably not. Especially if I clean up yeah, maybe that's good. I think that's good. I'm going to leave it at that. So here's a look at that branch. Yeah, it just looks like it broke off in a storm. Doesn't look like someone did it with loppers and vice grips. Yeah, I think that looks good. So that branch is done. I have this lower branch, which is quite vigorous, but there's a dead section out the back. So I'm going to try just breaking that with my hand if I can. There, like that. Maybe a little more off. Nope, I guess that's it. I think it needs more off there. Time to get out the precision tools again. Hold on. That's better. I like that. A little more. A little shorter. So yeah, I think, you know, the back part of this branch is dead. Oh, yeah. So there's a dead section here, and then the live vein kind of goes each side of it here. Yeah, there's the dead part. You can see the bark comes right off. Okay. Lots of dead wood back here. So there's a place here that was pruned. I've got to make that look a little more natural too. So I'm going to try and just make the end of that look a little more jagged. Oh, there we go. That came off pretty easily. Okay, that branch is done. This section out here that doesn't look like it's alive, I could prune that back. Okay, let's get back to the front view now. I'm sure my spinning tree bonsai turntable would handle this tree, but I don't want to stress it out. No point taking a chance. Okay, we're back to the front now. Wow, is it ever changing? My next step, I've got to reduce the height, reduce the canopy back. So I'm going to start. I'm going to remove some of the branches that are growing in towards the center of the tree that are cluttering up the design. And now these buckthorns in nature do grow quite chaotic, so I don't want to totally lose that feel to the tree, but I don't want it too dark in the middle section here, or I won't get light to these lower branches. So I'm going to start by There's a stump at the top I can take off here. Dead twigs in this branch. Okay, well that branch is better. I wouldn't say it's great yet, but better. Well, let's use this back, get some height off the top of the tree. There's a whole dead branch here. Now I might be able to just break that with my hand. All right, let's see if I can do this by hand here. There it goes. I did it. That looks good. I like that. That's one of my better cuts. There's another dead one up here. I'll try and break that one by hand too. Tougher branch. I'll break the bottom of it off. And I might have to get the vice grips on this one. Okay, here I go. Yeah, that looks good. That's actually very nice. I like that. Another little dead one up here. I better pull that off. I think I can break that with my hand. Yeah. Lots to die back on these buckthorns. I'm taking a look at the tree from the front, and it's still very tall. I think, eventually I can reduce the canopy way down to about here. But I can't do everything at once in this tree. It's going to be a slow process. So I'll try and take as much off the top of the tree as I can and keep, some good living branches on it, and without doing too many Hail Mary cuts or anything like that. So that's what I'll work on now. Here is a look at the tree all pruned up, and yeah, it's far from being, complete, this tree, but it's a step in the right direction. I've got it, a lot of problems sorted out. I removed a lot of deadwood, and yeah, I've got a plan for it, growing those bottom branches to get more vigorous, and yeah, so, steps in the right direction, I hope. So yeah, I'll put it back on the bench and take good care of it and keep it well watered and fertilized, and just see how it does. I hope my ancient old buckthorn just continues to improve in the future. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.